Moving on, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar has raised some sharp questions about the in-house probe into the corruption allegations against Justice Yashwant Varma, calling it legally inconsequential and lacking any constitutional basis as well. The Vice President questioned the probe into Justice Yashwant Varma, citing no constitutional or legal basis, lack of clarity on the money trail and calling for a review of judicial immunity laws. Speaking at a book launch in Delhi, Dhankar said the three-judge in-house committee had no authority and its findings are also inconsequential. He added, the country still does not know if electronic evidence or a money trail was recovered. Who are the bigger sharks? The Vice President in fact also questioned the 1991 Supreme Court ruling in K. Veeraswami versus Union of India, which shields judges from external probes. Jagdeep Dhankhar called it a quote-unquote scaffolding of impunity that blocks transparency and accountability. Listen to what he said.
This issue for which people are waiting with bated breath, the money trail, its source, its purpose, did it pollute the judicial system? Who are the bigger sharks? We need to find out. Already 2 months have gone by. And no one knows better than people before me. Investigation is required to be with expedition. So is the case with the registration of an FIR.
Now, while praising former CJI Sanjiv Khanna for making the report public, Jagdeep Dhankhar said only a scientific, independent probe can restore public trust. So that's a big statement coming in from the Vice President of the country. Jagdeep Dhankhar is now raising some very difficult questions about the in-house probe into the corruption allegations against Justice Yashwant Varma. You also heard him saying this at a book launch event here in the national capital. He called it legally, quote-unquote, inconsequential and also lacking any constitutional basis. Some serious statements coming in from the Vice President as he questioned the probe into Justice Yashwant Varma's case. He has also cited that no constitutional or legal basis, lack of clarity on the money trail are calling now for a review of the judicial immunity laws. These are in fact the visuals from that very event where Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar raised some sharp questions. He said three-judge in-house committee had no authority. Let me reiterate. He said three-judge in-house committee had no authority and its findings are quote-unquote inconsequential. He went on to say that the country still does not know if the electronic evidence or money trail was in fact even recovered. Who are the bigger sharks here? Indirectly targeting the committee itself and the ruling that came out as far as the Justice Varma's case is concerned. He also questioned the 1991 Supreme Court's ruling in K. Veeraswami versus Union of India, which also shields judges from external probes. He called it a scaffolding of impunity that blocks the transparency and also the accountability. In from the Vice President of India. Let's again listen in to what exactly he said at that event.
For which people are waiting with bated breath. The money trail, its source, its purpose, did it pollute the judicial system? Who are the bigger sharks? We need to find out. Already 2 months have gone by. And no one knows better than people before me. Investigation is required to be with expedition. So is the case with the registration of an FIR.
My colleague Brijesh Pandey is joining us on the broadcast. Brijesh, this is something very serious that has been highlighted by the Vice President of India. That's a big statement coming in from him publicly.
Well, this is not the first time when Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar has gone ahead and taken a pot shot at the apex court. And the fact of the matter is indeed that, as the famous saying goes, Caesar's wife must be above suspicion. I think the same thing is going to be applied for the judges as well. And there is also a glowing clamor about, how when there is a case of financial irregularity and there has been a commission which has been appointed, a probe committee appointed by the apex court to look into the allegations against Justice Varma. If the findings of the probe is not made public, or if judge is able to hide behind the laws which is there to protect him, it does raise suspicion. And I think, what Vice President is trying to do is trying to hammer home the point that, accountability, the judiciary cannot abstain from accountability. And this is the reason why, what he said, in one way makes a lot of sense. There has to be accountability, and also the fact that if a cash has been found or cash not been found in the premises of the judge, and if the committee do indict him, then what are the actions which are being taken by the higher judiciary to make sure that that justice is served in this particular case. And also the fact that a message should go out in public that whenever these kind of cases come, the apex court or the higher judiciary is there and deals these matter with iron hand. It will be very I would say foolhardy on the part of the court to hide behind the judicial cloak to make sure that what exactly has happened in this particular case does not come out.
Absolutely,
Sakshi?
Brijesh, but we have seen some stern actions being taken ever since Yashwant Varma's case actually popped up in the headlines. Post that a lot of things change, a lot of new norms have come into the picture, but the Vice President going out in public and questioning the electronic evidence as well as the money trail, it is also alarming a lot of, alarming in a lot of senses.
Well, this is not, as I said, that VP Dhankhar is Mr. Dhankhar is always, has been, at the case of Apex Court for a while now. If you remember, that the case of governor in which Apex Court has said that the governor of a particular state cannot sit on file for indefinitely and he has to take a decision within a given time. And if he's not able to take a decision, then he has to send the file to the president. The Supreme Court had set, time limit for the governor, for even the president, to make sure that a file is disposed of. Jagdeep Dhankhar was not at all pleased with that, and he went on to castigate the apex court on this particular aspect as well. Now this particular aspect is calls for probity. Yesterday we saw the Chief Justice Mr. Gawai saying that when Mr. Dhankhar said that that the Parliament is supreme. So to which Mr. Chief Justice of India, Mr. Gawai, said that it is the Constitution which is supreme. So there is a run-in between the Vice President and also and the apex court. But if you look at the fact of the matter, that cash being found at residence of a judge does merit a thorough investigation. It is not for somebody's personal, satisfaction. It is also for the larger good at cause. Judiciary is your last hope. Is last hope for lakhs and lakhs of people who go there to seek justice, as they are not meted out justice by the system. And if there's this degree of charges, and the charges are not being framed, probed thoroughly, it does send out a message which is a very mixed kind of message. Earlier there was Justice Varma was merely transferred to Allahabad High Court, but they led to a lot of protest from even the Allahabad High Court Bar Association and all. And I think it'll be in the wider interest of judicial accountability. I think whatever the report which has come should be made public, and also action should be initiated against Justice Varma if what all has been alleged against him turns out to be true.